When she first picked up the rifle, it was purely a matter of curiosity and practice. There was no grand plan, no expectation that she would ever be handling a weapon of such magnitude, let alone under the gaze of someone with years of elite military experience. Her first movements were tentative, careful, measured. Each adjustment, each breath she took, was a lesson in focus and patience. She was learning, refining her posture, her aim, and her understanding of how the weapon responded to even the slightest pressure. Practice, she realized, was not just about repetition. It was about attentiveness, about absorbing every subtle nuance of skill that could one day make a difference. She dedicated herself fully to each moment, even though, at the time, it felt like nothing more than a private exercise, a test of her own determination and curiosity. Then came the unexpected moment that would shift everything. The presence of a Navy SEAL, someone whose reputation and experience carried decades of rigorous training and real-world combat, was daunting. She expected instruction, guidance, perhaps even criticism. But instead, the dynamic changed in an instant when he handed her his Barrett .6 caliber rifle. The enormity of the gesture was overwhelming. Not just the sheer size and power of the weapon, but the implicit trust it represented. She realized that the hours she had spent practicing, seemingly in obscurity and isolation, had prepared her for this unexpected test. What had begun as casual repetition had quietly transformed into readiness, a preparedness she hadn't consciously recognized until it was demanded of her. This moment underscored the value of preparation. Practice, she learned, is never wasted, even when it feels small, private, or insignificant. Every repetition, every adjustment, every careful assessment of her own ability had been accumulating silently, building toward this pivotal instant. Her muscles remembered the motions, her mind had internalized the processes, and her reflexes were honed enough to respond when stakes suddenly became real. The lesson was clear. Consistent, mindful practice equips you for opportunities you might not even imagine, and readiness is often invisible until it is required. Moreover, this experience taught her about confidence. Confidence does not emerge from moments of glory. It grows quietly, through dedication, through the willingness to engage deeply with a task, and through persistent effort, even when no one is watching. Her practice had not been for recognition or approval. It had been for mastery itself. And that mastery was what allowed her to rise to the occasion. In the end, what she initially viewed as simple practice became a proving ground for her resilience, skill, and focus. It was a reminder that preparation is a lifelong investment, and that every moment spent learning and refining a skill matters, because you never know when circumstances will demand that you be ready to step up and perform at your highest level. Practice is never just practice. It is the seed from which confidence, skill, and opportunity grow. The moment the Navy SEAL handed over his Barrett .6 caliber rifle was more than just a gesture. It was a profound demonstration of trust and recognition. In elite circles, especially among those who have undergone the intense rigor and discipline of special operations, trust is not freely given. It is earned, often through consistent demonstration of skill, discipline, and the ability to remain calm under pressure. For her, this act symbolized that she had reached a point where her abilities were acknowledged by someone at the pinnacle of their field. It wasn't
merely about the weapon itself. It was about the transfer of responsibility, a subtle but powerful affirmation that she was capable of handling something far greater than she had imagined. The SEAL's confidence in her abilities became a mirror reflecting her own potential back at her, a validation that practice and dedication can earn respect even in the most demanding arenas. This moment also highlighted the essence of mentorship in high-stakes environments. True mentorship is not simply about instruction. It is about empowerment. By handing her the rifle, the SEAL was not directing or controlling her. He was offering her a tangible opportunity to prove herself. He was signaling, in the most impactful way, that he believed she could rise to the challenge. Mentorship in such elite contexts often comes in the form of allowing others to carry responsibility, to test themselves, and to grow through direct experience rather than mere observation. The act of trust itself becomes a teacher, communicating lessons about courage, preparedness, and accountability in ways words never could. It was also a lesson in the dynamics of respect. Respect in high-performance environments is earned, but it is also mutual. The SEAL respected her dedication, her discipline, and her willingness to learn, just as she came to understand the gravity of the trust being extended. It created a subtle, unspoken bond, an acknowledgement that skill and commitment are recognized and valued, and that true mastery is measured not only by knowledge or technical ability, but also by the ability to act responsibly when given power. The rifle, in that moment, became more than a weapon. It became a symbol of that bond, a physical representation of trust, acknowledgement, and shared responsibility. Finally, this interaction emphasized the importance of opportunity in personal and professional growth. Opportunities of this magnitude are rare, and they are rarely given without careful consideration. By seizing the moment with composure and competence, she was able to demonstrate that readiness and preparation are as much about character as about skill. The SEAL's Act served as a catalyst, not just a reward. It was an invitation to step into a higher level of challenge and to expand her own understanding of what she could achieve. It reinforced the idea that mentorship is not about doing for someone else, but about creating moments where they can rise, learn, and prove themselves in meaningful ways. In the end, the experience taught her that trust and mentorship are deeply intertwined. Trust is given selectively, but when it is offered, it empowers and transforms. Mentorship is most powerful when it challenges and enables simultaneously. And through this she learned that recognition from someone extraordinary can illuminate her own potential, showing her not just what she is capable of, but what she can become when trusted and empowered. The sudden transition from practice to a real, high-stakes situation thrust her into a world she had only imagined in theory. What had begun as a controlled, low-pressure exercise was now a moment demanding focus, precision, and composure. She felt a surge of adrenaline, a mixture of excitement and anxiety, but beneath it all was a quiet awareness that she had been unknowingly preparing for exactly this kind of challenge. The rifle in her hands was not just a tool. It was a test of her readiness, a tangible measure of how well she could apply her skills under scrutiny. This unexpected escalation taught her an essential truth. Life often tests our abilities in ways we cannot predict, and true preparedness is revealed only when those tests arrive.
Rising to this challenge required more than technical skill. It demanded mental resilience, the ability to stay calm under pressure, and the capacity to trust both herself and her training. Every instinct she had honed during practice came to the forefront: her breathing, her aim, her awareness of the rifle's weight and recoil. All converged in a moment that was both daunting and exhilarating. The experience demonstrated that challenges, no matter how intimidating, are opportunities to measure and expand one's capabilities. She realized that being prepared is not just about knowing the mechanics of a task. It is about cultivating the inner strength to act decisively when circumstances shift unexpectedly. This sudden responsibility also underscored the value of adaptability. Even the most rigorous practice cannot replicate every possible scenario, but it does build a foundation upon which improvisation becomes possible. As she handled the weapon, she learned to read the situation, anticipate outcomes, and make rapid decisions with confidence. The shift from practice to real responsibility revealed that true skill is dynamic. It thrives not only in repetition, but in the ability to adjust and perform under changing conditions. Her preparation had given her the tools, but rising to the challenge required courage, presence of mind, and a willingness to step into discomfort without hesitation. Moreover, the experience highlighted the transformative power of opportunity. Often, the most significant growth occurs when someone is unexpectedly placed in a position of responsibility. The Navy SEAL's act of handing over the rifle was not just an acknowledgement of her current ability, but a call to rise to a new level of performance. By stepping up, she discovered facets of herself that practice alone could not reveal: determination under pressure, clarity in the face of uncertainty, and a profound sense of accountability. She understood that challenges, particularly unexpected ones, are catalysts for personal evolution. Ultimately, this moment taught her that preparation and opportunity are inseparable. While practice equips the mind and body with the necessary skills, it is through embracing unexpected challenges that those skills are truly validated and expanded. Rising to a challenge is less about proving oneself to others and more about discovering what one is capable of when circumstances demand it. She walked away not just with the knowledge of how to handle the rifle, but with a deeper understanding of herself, a recognition that readiness, resilience, and courage are cultivated long before they are called upon, and that when the moment arrives, one's true potential can shine brilliantly under pressure.